Hi everyone, today we're driving a 2021 BMW 330i xDrive in one of the basic forms you could get this car in. The only options this car has is a driver's assistant package, a heated steering wheel, and a heated seat. That's it. And today I'm going to tell you why this is the package to get. But before we do that, let's get a couple of things out of the way. It is powered by a 2-liter, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine producing 255 horsepower. 0 to 60 in 5.3 seconds. The car handles exceptionally well. It has an amazing 8-speed automatic transmission which shifts super fast, and if you put it in manual mode, it turns this car into a true sports car. The back will step out if you want it to. It merges exceptionally well on the highway, to the point where you don't necessarily feel how fast you're going and you can get into real trouble real quick. You can average 26 miles to the gallon on the highway even if you drive somewhat aggressively. The exhaust is quiet, but it actually has a bit of a burble to it. The new iDrive is not very intuitive, and in my mind, the older versions were slightly better. The car comes standard with sport seats, and I've got to say, these are the most comfortable and supportive sport seats I've ever sat in. I can't believe they come standard in this car. The only thing that they do not have is a lumbar support. It's got a host of safety features, including active lane keep assist, which works half of the time. I would totally skip that option. It is a lot of fun. Most of the online reviewers will focus on the M340i, which obviously is a fantastic package, but in my case, I wanted to highlight something that's more attainable to the common folk. Yes, this car as option, with the very few options that it has, stickers for $45,000. But in my mind, this is the one to get. Yes, some of the quick hits I highlighted in the introduction of this video are fantastic, but the first thing that sold me on this car is one that you would never think about. I'm talking about the gauges. That's right, the base model 3 Series comes with a set of standard gauges, which in my mind are so much better than the full digital gauges you get on the higher trim models. And when I first sat in this car, it was so refreshing to see these circular gauges that I could not believe that I was so excited about a base option. The base model also comes with a smaller iDrive display, which I don't necessarily mind because it kind of makes the whole car feel a bit more compact. It is still a touchscreen, it is still very, very intuitive, but in my mind, the older generations of iDrive were a bit more easier to use. Maybe it's just me getting older. And now down here, you've got a set of standard buttons that all the new 3 Series have. And actually the new M3 and the M4 will have these buttons as well. I'm not a huge fan of them. Why? Because they're so small. For example, the way you adjust the temperature, you have to hit these tiny, tiny buttons. I wish it had actual physical knobs, and you cannot necessarily do it while driving. You still have to take your eyes off the road and look at the buttons that you press. And obviously down here, you got your physical volume knob and your memory buttons down here. And then down here, you've got your center console. This is a very base model, so obviously it doesn't have wireless charging, but you've got your USB charging port here. You've got your 12-volt outlet here. The center console here is very standard as well. One thing I noticed about this shifter, for example, when I put the car in drive, and maybe it's me because I drive a manual transmission car, I like to keep my hand over here. When I hit a bump, sometimes my hand moves and it puts the car in neutral. So a few times of me driving this car, I found myself pressing on the accelerator pedal and not moving, just to realize that I was in neutral. I don't know if it's just me. If you have the same issue with these cars, let me know. I hope I'm not the only one. And then of course down here you've got your center armrest with a USB port and plenty of storage. The steering wheel, even though it's a base steering wheel, feels great. It's very thick. Behind these buttons you've got the shifters, which feel very premium, and the turn signal stalk actually stays up or down. And then as we move to the left of the steering wheel, you've got your light control buttons here. One thing I noticed is they're angled downwards, so it's kind of hard to spot them as you're driving, but maybe that's just a matter of getting used to it. And quite frankly, you just keep it in the auto position and you will never have to adjust it. And right down below you have your pretty deep cubby, which you can use for extra storage. And the overall interior of this car is very premium. Again, remember, this is a base model. Base models in the US come standard with these sports seats, which are so fantastic. You've got these inflatable bolsters here, so you can adjust how much they squeeze you or not. You also have this extendable leg rest, which means if you are someone who's got long legs, you're going to be a lot more comfortable. You do not have lumbar support, as I mentioned earlier, but overall it's a very beautiful seat design that is comfortable and sporty at the same time. The trunk is quite spacious. And under this cover you will find your 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that produces 255 horsepower. If you're interested, the turbo sits down there. Look how tiny it is. The car rides on a squared setup, 225, 45, 18, both in the front and in the back. And hiding behind, you've got your standard floating calipers. One of the options I would absolutely opt for when building this vehicle is the convenience package. This car doesn't have it, so upon exiting the vehicle, you have to actually take out the key and close the car manually. This is a very fantastic vehicle, one that I like very much, and I cannot believe that I love a base model so much. And yes, this is a base model in the US. In Europe, you can get even more of a stripped down version. But for what you can get in the US, in my mind, this is the 3 Series to get. If you're looking for a 3 Series, I really think this is the 3 Series to get. You get the acceleration, you get the handling, you get the premium feel, you get the looks, and you would save yourself a lot of money by not getting the M340i, which yes, is a lot faster, but you don't really need that much more of a faster car for daily driving. And on that note, I wanted to thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video by commenting down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.